Of 19-year-old Miya Marcano, a Florida college student who disappeared more than a week ago. Today, authorities confirmed that her body was found near an apartment complex over the weekend. Miya was last seen on September 24th at her home in Orlando, about a mile from the University of Central Florida. She disappeared the same day a maintenance man entered her apartment with a master key, according to police. That man is believed to have been 27-year-old Armando Caballero, now considered a prime suspect in the case. Police did track Armando's cell phone, and records show he spent about 20 minutes in the area where Miya was found dead the night she was reported missing. Armando apparently killed himself before police were ever able to formally charge him with a crime in Miya's death. Daryl Washington is the attorney for Miya's family, and he is joining us live tonight. Mr. Washington, thank you for your time.
Thank you for having me.
I understand that you have an update and some new information in this case and the investigation. What can you share with us?
I mean, some of the information that we have now learned is that this guy he actually took Miya through a very tough struggle before he took her out of the apartment complex. One of the things that was very disturbing for the family to learn tonight was the fact that he had Miya's mouth taped, he had her wrist taped, and her feet bound together. So it was a very torturing situation for her to have to deal with.
Oh, that is horrific to hear, and my thoughts are with her family tonight. For any family to hear that about their loved one is just horrible. Let's talk about this Armando Caballero. There is information that he threw a weight through Miya's window, that he left her a note that she had turned down a date to go out on a date with him, so he was upset about that. Did she tell police, the apartment complex, her family, anyone that she was afraid of this person?
Well, what we have learned over the last 2 days is that there is at least one employee that Miya shared this information with. She also shared this information with her family. But the thing that is most disheartening about all of this is this was not the first person that this individual came in contact with. There have been several ladies who have reported that this gentleman was standing in their apartment after they got out of the shower. So it's just a really scary situation to know that you actually had someone like that who had free access to these young ladies' apartment.
Have you been in touch in legal terms with the apartment complex, what they knew?
The apartment complex has really been quiet with us, and that has been very disappointing as well, because not only was Miya a tenant at the Arden Villas, but she was an employee there. So you would like to think that if you had an employee missing and was later found dead, that somebody from this company would have reached out to the family to offer their condolences. Give them some type of bright spot. Tell them the type of worker that Miya was. But this family has not reached out this apartment complex failed to reach out to the family, and they have been really hurt by that.
There has been some criticism that the Gabby Petito case got a lot more attention than Miya's. Miya was 19 years old. She was missing. Her family wanted to know where she was. Could more have been done, in your mind, to protect her?
A whole lot more could have been done. One, this gentleman shouldn't have had access to that master key fob. He was off work when he went to her apartment. There was no reason for him to be in that apartment. So if there were better policies and procedures in place where individuals having access to a person's apartment, I think that would have never happened. There's clearly was some negligence on the part of the apartment complex.
Can you share with us Miya's cause of death? Has that been released?
That hasn't been released, but what I can tell you, one of the saddest things, we don't know whether Miya was alive when she left that apartment or whether she was killed inside. But one thing that I can tell you is that there is now video footage of this gentleman back at the apartment at 4 a.m. talking to the family and talking to a sheriff deputy who did not take the pleas of the family very serious. And as you know, in cases like this, every second matters. And there's just so much more that could have been done. If management would have just come out and used the technology that they have from that key fob, they would have been able to determine much earlier who was the person that actually went into that apartment. And if they were able to give the sheriff deputy that information, when that individual came back out to the apartment at 4 a.m., they would have had enough information to arrest him. And we don't know if that would have saved Mia's life, but it surely would have saved his family a lot of pain that they had to deal with for 7 to 8 days. And they would have been able to have a viewing of their daughter. But the fact that Miya was not found until 7, 8 days later, it was not a very good situation. And that is something that really hurts the family. And this is why the family is going to be fighting so very hard that no other family has to deal with this. When the parents say that their child is missing, we really think that law enforcement should take this more seriously.
So what's your next step representing the family legally?
Well, obviously, what we're focused on right now is the family is making funeral arrangements, and we want to make sure that the family is able to properly grieve. But we've not made it a secret. Everybody that's had some responsibility in Mia's death, we plan on holding them fully accountable, because not only are we disappointed about this happening to Miya, but we want to make sure that these apartment complexes know that they cannot take people's money and basically have people paying to live in fear. We want to make sure that there are proper policies and procedures in place, and we are very excited and very at least happy to say that there are state representatives who have reached out to the family, and they're going to really be advocating for Mia's law. So we just want to make sure that this never happens to another family.